Right now, a large number of retirees and families are collecting their social security and investment benefits from outside the country. They've chosen to living better, better weather, better healthcare for a fraction of what it costs in their own country. In today's video, we deep dive into living internationally in Malaysia, its four-tiered visa options, and three resourceful and expat-friendly locations to settle abroad. A bank deposit that starts at 32,000 US dollars and climbs to a million. And whether you're retiring or a family relocating with kids, you still have to decide where, because Penang, Kuala Lumpur, and Johor Bahru offer almost nothing alike, even under the same visa. This isn't a highlight reel, it's real numbers for a retired couple and for a family with kids in school, so that by the end you got enough to keep researching on your own or enough to already know which city doesn't fit you. Welcome to Eagle Flight, where your new life starts here. Let's quickly understand the visa options because a lot of what's online about the MM2H is outdated. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture Malaysia, MOTAC in short, relaunched the program in July 2024, and those rules still stand in 2026. Let's understand the four tiers. Silver, 150,000 US dollars on deposit, a 600,000 ringgit property purchase gives you a 5-year visa with no work rights. Gold, half a million dollars deposit, a 1 million ringgit property purchase gives you 15 years visa. Platinum, a full $1 million on deposit, a 2 million ringgit property purchase plus a one-time 200,000 ringgit fee gives you 20 years and the only tier with any work rights. The special economic zone applies specifically to the forest city in Johor Bahru. Deposits from 32,000 to 65,000 US dollars depending on age, a 500,000 ringgit property purchase but bought before your visa is approved, not after, which trips people's up. One more thing before we get into the three cities, the MM2H visa applications now go exclusively through licensed agents, and their fees are legally capped at 40,000 to 70,000 ringgits. Anything above that is a red flag, not a premium service. We've linked the MOTAC approved company list in the description for your reference. Let's move on quickly. This is the least differentiated part of the video. Kuala Lumpur is the most expensive of the three for reasons that lands differently depending on who's asking. For retirees, it's healthcare, Gleneagles, Prince Court, Pantai, all concentrated here, not 2 hours away. For families, it's schools. Kuala Lumpur and its Mount Kiara and Ampang belt host the densest cluster of international schools in the country, including the long-established names most parents will recognize, alongside the highest fees. A retired couple should budget roughly 8,000 to 12,000 ringgit a month before private health insurance, which adds another 12,000 to 40,000 ringgit a year at 60 plus. That's 30 to 40% above Penang for the same comfort level. Before we go ahead with the remaining content, if you're getting value and enjoying this video and want to stay updated on the latest opportunities to living and traveling abroad and learn about the exciting options to retiring or migration, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. YouTube will ensure you get notified when we publish the next insightful content. Now back to the video. For families, a 3-bedroom apartment suited to a family runs noticeably above the 1-bedroom figures most cost guides quote. Expect the top end of KL's rental range. International schools here run between 70,000 to 120,000 ringgit a year per child at the established schools before registration, uniforms, and transport. Add another 15 to 25% on top. 2 children at a mainstream international school are a 6-figure annual line item before you've paid for anything else. Shopping and lifestyle, KL is simply the most comfortable city of the three. Pavilion, KLCC, Bangsar Village, malls with everything from groceries to weekend entertainment inside a short drive. The honest trade-off, Kuala Lumpur is worth the premium choice if healthcare access, school choice, or a genuine city life are the actual priority. It's an expensive place to land out of habit, or because it's the capital and it feels like the default. Penang is the answer most people already retired in Malaysia will give you first. And for families, it's increasingly a serious contender too, not just a retirees island. For retirees, a single retiree can live comfortably on roughly 2,100 to 3,500 ringgit a month, excluding rent, meaningfully below Kuala Lumpur. Glen Eagles Penang covers most serious healthcare needs without a trip to the mainland. For families, the international school fees here run from 25% to 40% below Kuala Lumpur. A mid-range British or an IB school costs roughly between 50,000 to 90,000 ringgit a year per child, against 70,000 to 120,000 ringgit in Kuala Lumpur. For two children, that gap alone can be tens of thousands of ringgit a year. The trade-off is fewer schools overall, strong quality, but a shorter list to choose from KL's dense cluster. Family size rents tracks the general pattern, noticeably below Kuala Lumpur, slightly above what you'll pay for the same footprint in Johor Bahru. Shopping is solid but not exhaustive. Gurney Plaza, Queens Bay cover daily needs and then some without KL's sheer scale. The trade off that doesn't make most guides, it's an island, so anything logistics dependent is a little more exposed than on the mainland. And because Penang is the consensus pick, it's worth asking honestly whether you're choosing it for genuine fit or a reputation. Johor Bahru is the cheapest of the three, and for both retirees and families, the real draw is 20 minutes away, not in Johor Bahru itself. For retirees, housing runs between 1,000 to 1,500 ringgits for units that cost noticeably more elsewhere, the lowest entry point of the three. Specialist medical care that isn't available locally is a short crossing into Singapore, which offsets JB's thinner hospital concentration. This is where it gets genuinely interesting for families. The Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone and the upcoming RTS Link Rail have turned the Iskandar Puteri near Forest City into a real international education cluster. Schools like the Marlborough College and Raffles American offering UK and US curriculum at Malaysian fees, roughly 60,000 to 105,000 ringgit a year, while families keep Singapore side jobs or commute across the new rail link. That combination, Singapore adjacent salary, Malaysian cost of living, UK brand schooling, doesn't exist in quite the same shape in Kuala Lumpur or Penang. If you're on the special economic zone Forest City visa route specifically, remember the property before visa sequencing from section 1 and go in aware of Forest City's well documented occupancy and resale issues. The trade off worth sitting with, Johor Bahru doesn't have Penang's decades of settled expat and family life. It's transient, community shaped place built around a border rather than around itself. It's worth asking honestly whether you're choosing Johor Bahru or choosing adjacent to Singapore, because those aren't quite the same decision, especially once the novelty of a short commute wears off. For retirees, it comes down to healthcare versus cost versus community. Kuala Lumpur wins on access. Penang wins on the balance of cost and an established expat life. Johor Bahru wins if your budget is tight or Singapore is genuinely part of your life already. For families, it's a different equation entirely. Kuala Lumpur gives you the widest choice of schools at the highest cost. Penang gives you real savings per child without sacrificing much quality. And Johor Bahru, specifically the Iskandar Forest City corridor, gives you a genuinely unusual combination of UK brand schooling, Malaysian living costs, and Singapore adjacent income. And if that's a structure that fits your family situation, there's no single right answer here for either audience, and any guide that hands you one is skipping the part where your own priorities matter more than a ranking. One country, three vital options: Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and Johor Bahru. Each one offers a retirement most of the West can't access at home for a fraction of the cost. Before you go further with your own research, confirm your target city and school's exact current fees directly, since both shift year to year. And if you're comparing family budgets, add at least 20% onto any headline school fees for registration, uniforms, and transport that rarely makes it into the advertised number. Tell me in the comments which one caught your attention and why. I read every one. If this was useful, a thumbs up takes 2 seconds and helps us reach more retirees and families like yourself who need to hear it. Until next time, spread your wings and fly.